And welcome to the Fastest Lap podcast with myself and Mel.
Hi,
Well, Mel.
Unimel. Yeah.
We will be talking about the Singapore GP.
What a weird race.
Yeah.
It was, for me, I was saying to my dad, I was like, that is the weirdest race I've watched. I've never watched a race that finished on time rather than laps. Like, that was my first time
Mm.
seeing that. And it was so strange.
I never even noticed. I was sat there and
Yeah.
then I seen someone tweet it and I was like, when did that happen?
Yeah, I didn't notice. And then I looked in the top corner and it said like 35 minutes and it was counting down. And I was like, we stopped counting the laps? Or did this happen? It was a very long race.
Strange. The weekend started with obviously practice, but like
As it always does.
it was weird. Because Mercedes looked like they had pace, and it was
Yeah.
weird. That's the only thing that happened that was exciting apart from, or like relevant apart from, obviously Gasly's car going on fire. Which
Yeah,
lots
he
to talk
was
about.
coming. I think he came into the pits, brought the car forward, and it reversed back. And as they were reversing it back on the jacks, you can see in the video, like the camera goes all glitchy, but the car set on fire. I don't think he realized because, like, there's protocol that you have to, as a driver, be able to get out of your car, like in and out of your car within a certain amount of time, especially if it's like on fire. And he was just kind of sat there, which really confused me. So whether he didn't notice or he was told to remain where he was, we never know. Like, we won't know. But that was very strange because it appeared to come out of nowhere. But it is extremely hot in Singapore. Singapore's one of the most challenging tracks to race at purely because of the heat.
It was just a weird position.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't out on the track doing a push lap. He had come into the pits after doing a cool down. So, don't really know what happened there.
And practice being practice is super boring, so we're gonna get
Yeah, practice
in
being practice.
to the main part. But before we do, I've got to remember to tell you to give this video a like, comment, share it, and if you like the podcast, consider subscribing. But yeah, let's get stuck into practice qualifying. It
What
was
a weird qualifying. I was sat texting Harry about it. No, I didn't. I joined him in a call. I was like, Harry, are you watching Quali? He said no, he's playing FIFA, so bit of a traitor. Love you, Harry. But Russell was out in Q2.
Strange.
How bizarre. I was very confused. But I think it was a car issue in the end because then obviously for the actual race, he started in the pit lane. I think it was either a gearbox issue or an engine issue, and that's why he started from the pits for the race. But yeah, Hamilton qualifying third. So there was pace in one Mercedes.
I thought he was gonna do it. Actually, no, I didn't.
No.
I really didn't.
Oh no.
But it's just it was just weird. I'm literally gonna have to have like a weird counter because we've said it so many times, but it really was like
Yeah.
did Ocon was out in Q1, but I don't know what happened to him. Like it never.
Got no idea.
You never said what happened. I was just shocked at that because usually he's always in actually Q3. Recently, he's been racking up a lot of Q3s. So that was odd. Obviously, Bottas, Ricardo, and Latifi, and Albon being in out in Q1 is not a shocker. I don't think.
No, as soon as I saw, I forgot who it was, but whoever overtook to put Daniel down out in Q1, my heart just aches for him every single time.
Oh man,
He deserves so much better.
Oh no, I was going. Oh, hey, oh, you can do this. No.
No, did not.
Oh, bless him. And then, yeah, as you said, Russell out in Q2. And the same, really. There was no real shock within Q2 apart from Russell. It was Stroll, Schumacher, Vettel, and Zhou. Can I just talk about Schumacher dead quick? I feel sly that he's not going to have a seat next season, considering that if Ferrari are wanting to put Hulkenberg in that seat, if it's true.
I find that really strange. Considering his performance this year, it really doesn't make sense to me at all.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you'd think they just keep him on until they can figure out whether they want to recruit a rookie or someone else. But it's just...
It just doesn't... I don't know, it doesn't seem right because he got his first points this year. Like, that shows he's getting performance in the car. And even George, for a long-ass time in that race, struggled to overtake him. Like, I remember on the radio, like, he was saying, like, crikey, like, he was really struggling to get past Mick. So, for him to not have a seat next year wouldn't sit right with me because I think his performance shows that he deserves to have his contract renewed.
Yeah. I mean, not like recently, obviously, he struggled, but so is Magnussen. So what's the difference? I don't understand why, just because they're kicking him off the, like, junior...
the driver academy.
Yeah, academy, that, like, they need to actually get rid of him completely and get some... No offense to Hulkenberg, but he's not going to create wonders, is he? Like,
I don't see how you would benefit from having Nico in a seat. I just don't see it at all. Like, even though Mick's a free agent now, that should just make him more appealing to other teams because he's able to get some performance out of a very low field car. Stick him in a midfield car, see how he does.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to know unless you actually give them the opportunity.
Strange, but yeah. And then Q3 was another Leclerc. Woo, we're on pole. Woo. What's the point of being on pole? Because you don't
it's the
deliver.
Singapore curse, isn't it? I think I saw a video about it, and it's just like Ferrari's been on pole, and then the Red Bull has won that race, and that's what happens again this year. But I'm glad overall. I'm glad the race played out the way it did, because obviously, if the championship is decided now, when we've still got a nice handful of races left, it will just kind of be a little bit boring. So I'm glad it goes into another week.
Yeah, I was like, come on. When Verstappen locked up, did that big lock, I was like...
Yeah. I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, what the hell is going on?
I was like, go on, crash, because this could drag it on for a few more weeks. Whereas it's probably just going to be till next week now. Like, whereas if you wouldn't have got points, I think it would have dragged at least 2 more weeks. Like,
yeah. But here's the thing though, is statistically, Checo's still in contention to win the title. But do we think Red Bull would allow that?
Fat chance in hell.
I don't think they would. Because this is all very much Max. Like, Max is our golden boy. Obviously, generally, his performance has been better than Checo's, but I don't know. Like, what if Checo tries to pull a Bottas and, like, just try and go for the championship? I think Red Bull would fire him if he did that.
Honestly, probably, yeah.
Go back to Racing Point. Oh wait, they don't exist anymore.
No, like, there's no way. There's no. Like, if you wanted to do that, he could have done that a few races ago. I think, or at least done it at the start when he had a bit of form. But it's almost like when he wins, he feels ass the fact that he's won. He's like, I won, but like, but yeah. Before we go too far on, Verstappen finished, was it 8th in qualifying because they ran out of fuel.
Yeah, it was either 8th or 6th. That really confused me. How do you run out of fuel? I'm guessing just on a push lap he pushed too hard and had used a bit too much fuel. But I think even the lap he was pulling out, I think would have maybe took him up a place or two, but wouldn't have done much. Like it definitely wasn't enough for pole.
The one before that, it was a good lap, and then all of a sudden, the commentators were like, why is he pulling up? Like, why is he pulling back? Why is he stopped? This is weird. This, and then he was fuming.
Because I think regardless, I think the rules say that obviously if he had run out of fuel and he'd finished that lap and he'd ran out on the way back to the pits, that last lap I think wouldn't have counted anyway. So it just makes sense to make him come in rather than use all the like resources to have to take him back.
Yeah, it's mad how much he was fuming though. But if I put me mind in the mindset of a winner, I understand why, because it's such a basic thing that you've got wrong. Yeah. And like he wants to win. He wanted to win that weekend. He didn't want to wait for another week. He wants to win as soon as possible.
You want to get it wrapped up as soon as possible, because for them it's not about entertaining us. It's about winning. Whereas we're sat thinking, this is bloody lovely. Like we're getting another week out of this where we don't actually know who's won yet. And it's exciting. It is. It's yeah.
Yeah, into the race. We had. Oh yeah, did Norris start like 5th?
I think he was
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6th, 4th or 6th, one of the two.
2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6th.
He pulled out a good. I was messaging my dad like, this could be a podium. It wasn't, but I was optimistic. I was like, do you know what? You never know. And I think if Ferrari had one of their usual weekends, i.e. the weekend with no strategy, because this week it seemed to actually work. Apart from, I think they had an unsafe release. I think they'd released both cars at pretty much the same time. But if they had pulled a usual for Ferrari's strat team, I think Norris would have been on the podium.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, a double McLaren point finish.
Yeah, lovely.
22 nice points. That made me happy.
Ricardo, like people are like, yeah, but 4 or 5 cars like didn't complete the race, and I'm like, yeah, but I swear to God, on like the first lap or two, he overtook so many cars.
Yeah,
like it wasn't just because others dropped out; he actually drove well.
Yeah, he had to overtake them to get to his position anyway.
Yeah.
So fair play to him. It just shows he's got something left in him. So I will be gutted if he doesn't have a seat next year. Like he's already said he doesn't want to jump into the first seat that's available, which is smart, because as tempting as it is, like some people, I think Ocon did it, took a year out, came back, now he's a race winner.
I mean, he never had the choice in that, like, but
yeah, it's just kind of like worst case scenario. If he's not on the grid for next year, you never know, he might get another chance, and it would be nice to see that. But I just want him on the grid, like all the time. I don't want him to retire or not ever be on the grid. I want him to have to Zimmer frame to his car to get in it.
Yeah, like this is probably his last like move, so he probably wants to think really hard about it and make sure it's the right team, not just jump and then it turns out to be terrible for him.
Yeah, I am gutted it didn't work out for him at McLaren. I thought it would have, but I'm gutted they didn't, because I see that whole contract thing with Piastri was really messy, and I'm gutted Daniel hasn't been given another year with the car, because all the cars this year, like this whole year, really is just a teething year. To figure out how to make the best performing cars with all the new rules and regulations. Speaking of, did we ever find out if Red Bull breached the cost cap? I don't know if we did.
I think I've just been watching a clip then before we started the podcast with Ted saying that, but like within like a day or so we'll know. Well, in a day and a half in Japanese time we'll know. But he thinks it's just a bit of shit staring, and that there isn't actually any serious cost cap. It's just people winding Red Bull up to make them panic.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. Because why would this come out now and not any other point in the season? Why the one race when Max could have tied up the championship? You know, it's like that makes it look not great for whoever started the rumor.
I mean, I understand why whoever it is, why they did it, because of all times now, it's the chance to stop him, isn't to say this is another championship he's won by like basically cheating. But with it's mad. Once upon a time I like Red Bull, but now I just don't like them.
I'm just bored of people who hold on to Abu Dhabi at this point.
Yeah.
Like we're almost at the end of a whole season, and I know what's gonna happen. We'll get to Abu Dhabi. There'll be like flashbacks to last year and how dramatic it was. When I think we just don't need that. Because that's just adding fuel to the fire.
Kill. I can't even watch. I get triggered every time.
Every time a safety car comes out, you'll be like.
Every time that advert before it starts with Max Verstappen, you're the world champion. I'm like, huh?
It's just like, yeah, like I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm just bored of people who cling on to it.
I'll cling on to it forever and ever. Only not like actually complain and call. Or
the difference is you're not on Twitter insulting like 15-year-old fans as like, I don't know, like a 40-year-old man who's like, Lewis should have won. This is all rigged. The earth is flat. Like
it just annoys me the fact that it seems to be. Regardless whether it's Red Bull or anyone else, it seems to be them more often than not that they're able to get around the rules. That includes Ferrari this season with the whole flaws and stuff like that when they were illegal, and they kept giving them more and more time to like get rid of them. They're illegal. Why like every other team got to suffer? Like it's just. I don't like the FIA. I just don't like.
It's so difficult as well because I would also openly say I'm not a fan of Lewis's attitude towards like the rules in regards to jewelry. Like
what you mean?
It's there, like the rules in place are obviously there for safety, and he was asked to like take out his nose stud and things like that, and rather than just doing it because it's the rules and they've been the rules for ages. It was a few races ago when he had shown up with like 3 watches on and like a bunch of rings and I don't know, it's just basic things. Like you have to do that in PE. If a like 12-year-old can do it for PE, why can you not do it? Because at the end of the day, if someone's got to rip your helmet off and you've got your nose stud on and your nose is like halfway down the straight because you didn't take your nose stud out, that's your fault.
Yeah, I get that's what like. To be honest, I'm not asked about jewelry or ever because, as like a lot of previous drivers said, it's their risk that they're wanting to take, and like it's been a thing that the rules there, but they all still wore like whether it's the wedding ring or whatever it may be or necklace, they still all did it. I thought it was quite funny, to be fair, that like he decided to do that alongside Vettel doing the whole underpants thing. I thought it was hysterical.
Yeah,
But
I think
I
there's
get
a
your point,
difference
like, but
between Vettel putting his pants over his race suit, and I just think what, like in my opinion, what Lewis did just came across as a bit arrogant. It's just weird because I don't know, it feels like no one is actually enforcing these safety rules. Like they just
I
throw a
think,
mention at
yeah,
it. Like it doesn't feel like they're being enforced
I
very
think
well.
that's the whole thing that now they're trying to, which is why, like, people are like, well, why now? Like, we've done this for how many years? Why
Yeah.
now, sort of thing. But yeah, it irritates me when, I don't know, you have a rule, like even with the 5-second penalty, it says we don't accept, like that was the excuse of why you sped up like around the safety car, but then in the next sentence say, okay, like we believe you, and it's like,
It's so
what,
strange,
it's
and
got to be one
also,
or the other, otherwise people won't take you seriously.
yeah, and I'm also just not a fan in general of um race incidents, especially when they happen like only halfway or before halfway into the race, still not being able to be determined by
Mm,
a whole team of people until after the race. Like
yeah.
it doesn't make sense because obviously any driver's gonna, like, if you need to speak to them, any driver's gonna say what they can to get them in the least amount of
Yeah.
trouble. Like it's just common sense. Like
Mm,
because we do it as normal humans. Especially when you have that long in a race to decide. I think the only exception would be if it involved multiple cars and you know it would take an extensive amount of
yeah.
time to look at, when realistically you're under a safety car, you don't have to focus on the other cars, you only have to focus on his car and the safety
Mm.
car. But again, like everything just happens and we just have to take it on the chin.
It's still irritates me though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, if you want, like, you want to be taken seriously, but on the other account, you look stupid because you refuse to backtrack on decisions that yous have made that are clearly wrong, aka Abu Dhabi, or even
Yeah.
this race, like just different incidents where like it's clear that the rules have been broken. Just just draw a line in the sand.
I feel like since Abu Dhabi, the FIA, like you just look at them like you look at the Ferrari strat team, like they're clowns.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't seem very good at decision
Mm.
making. They should do what I do and make a pros and cons list. Pros, we do the right thing. Cons, the fans will hate us because that's all there really is to put on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just another week for the FIA.
Need to get their act together, honestly.
Yeah, they do. We had double Aston Martin points as well this weekend,
Oh yeah.
which
Oh,
I was shocked with.
Vettel.
I friggin' love Vel.
Vettel.
I'm going to be
Ooh.
very sad when he leaves.
Yeah.
He's like my dad, but better because he's Sebastian Vettel. Um, yeah,
You did a
they,
brilliant job.
yeah, he drove the car very well.
Mm.
You can't ask for much more. Um, it was a difficult race too, as well at the start because everyone seemed to kind of manage on the inters, but then I saw a lot of people saying, especially online, why have we got full wet tires if we're not using them for wet races?
Yeah.
But I feel like the wets are more appropriate when it is also currently raining because they are full wets. Like the teams are given and they create and store so much data. There's obviously a reason why they chose inters, but it is a little bit strange because it's so much easier to displace the water off the track if you use the full wets.
What's your opinion on that, by the way? Like, on them delaying the race?
Oh, I could feel myself like I feel like I need a hip replacement. Like it just felt like it lasted so long that I'd like aged like 50 years. Um, at the end of the day, driver safety will always be, for me, number one priority. If you have to delay the race 2 hours, delay it 2 hours. I'll still be here in 2 hours. It's not worth going out when you're going to risk other people, the drivers. It's not worth it. So I don't mind race delays, but I think if there was a point where it was going to be a 3-hour delay, like estimated, that's when teams, the FIA needs to kind of come together to discuss: is it worth running this now?
Yeah,
because you can just move on. You can, I don't know, take a Sunday off.
nah,
Fine.
I miss the chaos of proper wet races. To be fair, I
I
mean,
love a
I,
wet
I
race.
wasn't I wasn't bothered by them delaying it this time, but at a certain point, I was like, "Oh, go on, just start it. Go on.
Yeah,
There's a
I
little
got
bit of
to that
rain. Go on.
point.
It's
Yeah.
drizzling. Go on."
I was like, if it's a little bit, then it's fine. But if else it's like chucking it down, I'm like, no, thank you.
They used to be the most exciting races to me. Obviously, it's the most dangerous, and
Yeah.
the drivers probably don't like them. But yeah, I really wanted them to race with a bit of rain at least
I
to
don't
make it
mind a wet
exciting.
race, but if I ever get a 2021 Sochi repeat, I think I'm just permanently scarred for that forever.
Yeah. I think I think it's like I don't know. It's just there's just something about wet races that excite me, but
Yeah.
I think it's because as well the fact that there's nothing else to play for. Like there's nothing
Yeah,
else to race
it
like
really
for.
is how the driver can manage the car. It doesn't matter then what car you're in. It's can you
Mm,
control it in difficult conditions, which is really exciting. And like the spray coming off the cars just looks incredible.
yeah. I wish these next few races we've got to find our excitement from somewhere. So when it was like the possibility of a wet race, I was like, hmm. I was like, I've not seen one of these in a while. I was like, oh. But yeah, I'm trying to think of oh yeah, what I want to say about Vettel. Fair play to him. In his defense against Max, I thought he was just going to roll over. Because I've seen him do that before. In
Yeah.
regards to Max, but this time he fought him for a while, and he was struggling Max to get through. Other than that, the safety car happened. So then, when it was green lighted, flagged that you got past straight away. And then you had Alonso who was like, all right, Vettel, watch this. I'll defend. I'll defend even harder.
And they just go straight on and just almost completely twats the wall. That was weird seeing a lot of drivers out. Then my friend had come back and he'd messaged me being like, where's a quarter of the grid gone? And I was like, walls. But I saw Joe was very upset with Latifi for how he was driving on the track. I've seen that video and it's not looking good. That's why I'm very glad he's leaving this year. No hate to him, but he's shit.
No, every hate to him. Like I was gonna say he deserves it. Obviously he doesn't, but like that was like woeful. What are you do? What are you
Yeah.
doing?
And I think Nick having the opportunity to drive the Williams the previous race really showed that it's not a car issue. It's a skill issue for real. It really is. Like, he was able to get points after being in a totally different car the day before. Like,
Yeah.
that is just incredible. But yeah.
To just cut across someone like that, like not
Yeah.
even like side by side, full on diagonal chop. And luckily, well, to be fair, Joe did the right thing by trying to stop, but obviously crashed. I feel sorry
Yeah.
for him.
First kind of like someone's I saw this clip that said apparently it's the curse of the Zhou family because they've been there physically in the pits to watch him at 2 races, Singapore and Silverstone. So people have been like joking about that, but yeah, it was unfortunate to see because I think he was quite strong and he would have gotten points.
Just Latifi, man. Honest to God.
I can't.
It's what being rich gets you, doesn't it? Like the fact that he was even he's been in that seat for a year too long, in my opinion.
Yeah, they had a chance. They had an opportunity last year, and they didn't take it. I guess maybe they wanted to give him one kind of final chance, and then Nick's performance was just the final push for them to realize, oh, he's crap.
Yeah.
Oh well, was nice while it lasted.
Sorry, Latifi, we're not going to miss you.
Yeah, no. Williams won't either. Do you know why? Because they'll be able to actually stay within their budget.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I tried to think of other things that happened that were important, but I don't think there was.
No, it was quite because half the race was under the safety car, so it was just kind of a once they went from counting down time rather than laps, it was just kind of a survive until the end.
It was like a boring but exciting race at the same time, just because the amount of people dropping out.
Definitely, I agree.
Oh, actually, yeah, I want to talk about Russell.
Yeah,
his arrogance is making me question him a little bit.
I do think his attitude towards the sport has changed a bit since being at Mercedes, and I'll be honest, I'm not surprised. If you're put in a car that has amazing performance within reason, and then you perform quite well, like there are a few. He's had questionable times. Maybe he needs to be humbled a little bit. Somebody needs to serve him a slice of humble crumble, because arrogance does not look pretty on anybody.
It was just the way he's like, what was it? Schumacher's out here fighting, acting like this is the race of his life or whatever it was, and I was like, but to him it is.
Yeah, because
this could be
enough,
the difference to keep a seat. Like,
yeah, because he's got a seat that he's fighting for, and you don't.
Yeah, this was you last year. Like,
yeah, it
baffles
really was.
me. Him and his little crikey, shut the fuck up, mate. Like, yeah, like the way he's at the back of the grid and he gets put on these medium tires, and they're saying to him, "Well, do you want to come in?" And he's like, "No, my race will end if like a pit." And I think, mate, your race ended as soon as you started the race. It wasn't going to change. Just some of the as he pitted like about 45 times because the stupid decisions he was making.
Yeah, because they definitely come on the radio, and from a driver's point, they're gonna ask you, "Would you feel comfortable going on a slick?" He obviously said, "Yeah." It's like the last kind of few weeks, Lewis has been on the radio complaining about tires and how it was the wrong choice, acting like he didn't have any input when he definitely would have. That's what gets to me.
That baffled me, but then they said that it wasn't the type of tires, it was to do with whether they were new or used, his one. So then I was like, okay, I understand that. So
then guess they need to work on their tire management.
I understand that one, but like, I don't know, Russell's he's done it a few times and he's actually got penalties for it where he's just like it was Schumacher, wasn't it, this time that he went up again alongside, and then he caused his own tyre issues, and then after the race goes, well, I left them loads of room, and it's like, clearly you didn't, and you're lucky, to be honest with you, that you didn't get a penalty.
Yeah,
because you've done it to, I think, like Perez, numerous of people he's done it to, and I think it's just because he's driving a Merc. I think literally, that's it. That's the reason why he does it. He's like, I can act like a big bully, like Max does, because he knows he's got a good car.
When he can't team. Because he's not even contention for the championship. So when I mean, I'm no F1 driver, but when you're actually in contention, then you can speak.
It just probably shocked me that I thought, you cheeky bastard.
Yeah.
Talking about our Mick like that. How dare you?
Mick, our precious.
Yeah, and then you had Hamilton, who he did okay until he had to. Oh yeah, he had to pick because he. What happened? I missed it. I just seen him crash.
Yeah, he went into the wall. It wasn't like a. No, it was quite. It was a medium shunt because it was enough to actually push the water out of the barrier onto the car.
Mm.
And I think he punctured his tire. Possibly, I can't really remember.
His wing. I think his wing fell off because Max was
Yes.
moaning, going, "It's dangerous! It's dangerous! Get him to pit! Get him to pit!" Because obviously he wanted to get in front of him because he was struggling like behind him. But I didn't see him actually like for the reason why he did crash. Was he near anyone, like, or did he just switch off for a second? Because I was like, huh? He did say, "Sorry guys, that was my fault," but
yeah,
I never even watched the replay to find out what happened. It was just weird. But
yeah.
before then, I thought he could possibly get a podium here. And then he made
So
that
wanted a
mistake.
Norris podium.
I thought the both of them would have got one,
I
to
was
be honest.
like, if a Ferrari has the pit, then maybe. And if it's a
Yeah.
slow pit, then possibly. But it didn't. But he pulled out a very good race performance, and then he went to go DJ a set afterwards.
Did you?
I'm loving it at the minute. He's a DJ. He's a photographer. Like everyone's got to have a hobby. But yeah, I feel
That's
like
cool.
Leclerc's really like obviously he's been fighting for the championship all year, and I think now he's like extra on it. And it's just great. It's great to see. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I literally think that's it. I cannot think of anything else other than the fact that I don't know. Literally, Williams had 3 drivers that had DNFs, which is hysterical, which basically sums Williams up.
Yeah, sums up Williams as a whole. I'm also very glad Alex is okay. Like after hearing the condition he was in, and then going to one of like the toughest tracks on the calendar.
Yeah.
Fair play to him, and we're all very glad that he slays. I ran out of words.
I did the big like I did like a 10-15 minute video on I edited it all, and then it came out that Nick was going to AlphaTauri, and I was like, for fuck's sake, because it's like me talking about how I want Nick to replace Albon because I want him to rest and be prepared for Japan. I want him to rest. I'm scared that I was like, I'm scared he's gonna get hurt again. Please, please, Albon, just take a week off. Yeah, I'm glad he managed to at least do the race until he crashed or whatever. He did crash, didn't he?
Yeah, he crashed out.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
because that's terrified me. Because I was like, "Are you sure about this in Singapore? Like the climate?"
Yeah, it's a rough race, but I think the drivers did incredibly well, and we're going to Japan next, aren't we? Another early bunch of races where we're going to remember absolutely nothing, and we're going to have to rewatch highlights.
It's going to be a podcast filled with a lot of
I don't even remember what happened. That's my Harry impression. I fell asleep on the sofa again.
It really is. It's good. Like probably Americans, Australians, etc., are laughing at us, but
yeah,
we're not made out for this life. Yous
yeah.
are. Yous have had years of training. We haven't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Japan. Verstappen can win it in Japan.
Verstappen can win in Japan. I guess we will have to see what's in store for us in the next race.
So yeah, that's it from us. It's a short one, but
a good one.
Yeah, it's short but good one. There's not much really to talk about other than what we have discussed. And yeah, be sure again to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, this is the Fastest Lap podcast. My name is Onomey, and yours is?
I'm Mel.
Yay! Hey, she did it.
All three of us will be back next episode.
Yes.
We promise. I'm going to look an idiot now if one of us isn't here.
Take care, everyone. Bye.